top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts Bringing Value Home. United States concerned about AZURDDIN Mohammed getting into Parliament could have dire consequences for Guyana. U.S. Ambassador. President Ali ignoring meaningful consultation on acting Chief Justice to temporarily fill Chancellor's role. Norton. Inaugural Biodiversity Conference opens in Guyana. And Fernandes vows to increase current carbon credit sale from 15% to 50% for indigenous communities. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm ALETHEA Grant with the Wednesday, July 2025 edition of the HGP Nightly News. This is what you should know this evening. With the We Invest in Nationhood political party gaining steady momentum among the electorate, the United States has expressed concern should the party get into office. We will find out if it could have dire consequences for Guyana.
If United States sanctioned businessman AZURDDIN Mohammed gets into office or even be elected a parliamentarian, that would be deeply concerning for the United States. United States Ambassador to Guyana Nicole Theriot told reporters on the sidelines of an event on Wednesday that if Mohammed be elected into government, it would change the way how Guyana does business with the United States.
When you see an OFAC-sanctioned individual become a part of an official within a government, it sends concern through the private sector of the United States. So you see U.S. companies often rethinking their relationships in the country.
Ties, especially with the United States and other countries, could be severed once an OFAC-sanctioned individual gets into government.
We saw it in Afghanistan. We've seen it in other countries as well. They sometimes look to de-risk or to even just cut ties with the country. And we're in such a beautiful position right now. All these U.S. companies want to come to Guyana, and Guyana is welcoming so warmly all of these U.S. companies. And I don't want, if he were to become a member of the government, that to change. So that's a real concern that I have.
Asked if Mohammed should become just an opposition member, the ambassador responded.
Well, yes, he would still be a member of government, so that would be a concern for us, yes.
The Office of Foreign Assets Control of the United States Department of Treasury on June 11, 2024, announced the imposition of sanctions against the Mohammed's family, especially targeting Nazar Mohammed, his son AZURDDIN Mohammed, and their business Mohammed's Enterprise, Hadi's World and T. Mohammed's Racing, over allegations of gold smuggling and corruption. Former Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Home Affairs, May Thomas, was also sanctioned.
We are concerned anytime a U.S. Department of Treasury OFAC-sanctioned individual has the potential to become a member of government. That is concerning for us. It's problematic in multiple ways because the way that we as the U.S. government can interact with the government, we have to be very careful.
Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Guyana's acting Chief Justice Roxanne George could soon be appointed to act as Chancellor of the Judiciary as sitting acting Chancellor Yonette Cummings Edwards proceeds on 2 months' leave. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
Attorney General Annie Nandla said President Irfan Ali notified opposition leader Norton via letter dated July 11 that Cummings Edwards requested leave from July 8 to October 7, 2025, and that the president was considering appointing Chief Justice acting Roxanne George to act as Chancellor during that period. Nandla explained that the president sought Norton's input in keeping with constitutional requirements, but received no response by the July 18 deadline.
One hand cannot clap. That there must be response and meaningful response from the leader of the opposition to these engagements.
The Attorney General emphasized that this lack of engagement from the opposition leader leaves the president with little choice but to move forward in the interest of maintaining leadership within the judiciary.
In my respectful view, the President, having not received any response from the Leader of the Opposition in the time specified, can proceed to appoint as he desires.
Meanwhile, Opposition Leader Aubrey Norton confirmed receiving the letter during an interview in Globespan, but accused President Ali of trying to ignore meaningful consultation.
Basically, what he's seeking to do is to ensure that he controls it and shift away from having to have agreement with the opposition. But the elections are coming. The results will be different. I think this time, we'll return to government, and those things we can change.
Guyana has not had a substantive chancellor since 2005. Since 2017, Justices Cummins, Edwards, and George have acted as Chancellor and Chief Justice, respectively. Tianako reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Guyana is a high forest, low deforestation country and continues to lead in the area of biodiversity. However, President Irfan Ali has acknowledged that biodiversity remains grossly underfinanced. Nightly News' Antonio Day attended Wednesday's opening of the inaugural Global Diversity Summit and filed this report.
It is both an honor and a historic privilege to welcome you to Georgetown for the inaugural Global Biodiversity Alliance Summit. Welcome to Guyana.
That was President Irfan Ali addressing the opening of the two-day Global Biodiversity Alliance Summit, which has attracted participation from across Latin America and the Caribbean. President Ali lauded Guyana for making inroads in the sustenance of its rainforests, being a high forest low deforestation country. However, the Guyanese president raised concerns regarding lack of funding for this critical initiative.
Today, we invest just $200 billion per year in nature. But to meet the Global Biodiversity Framework targets, we need at least $700 billion annually.
President Ali noted that countries must triple global finance for nature and ensure that this finance flows to where it is most needed. The president at this juncture stressed on the main commitments of the Global Biodiversity Summit for the remaining days at the Arthur Chung Conference Center.
Scaling blended finance to de-risk investment in nature-based enterprises, piloting biodiversity credits that reward stewardship, expanding debt for nature swaps modeled on our own experience.
President Ali noted that the summit will also be supporting community-driven finance models that place indigenous leadership at the center. Guyana, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Colombia, the South Rupununi Conservation Society are among the signatories to the Global Biodiversity Alliance. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned. More news after the break.
SNL Electrical Inc., where lighting and electrical needs are met with expertise and style. From the latest in electrical lamps to durable cables, circuit breakers, panels, we have it all. Illuminate your space with our elegant chandeliers, stunning crystal lights, and versatile pole lights. Looking to upgrade your comfort? Explore top-of-the-line AC units and our diverse selections of stylish styles. Visit us at 170-180 Thomas Street, Kitty, Georgetown. Discover a solution that not only lights up your world but transforms it. Call us on telephone number 226-3018 or 223-1634. SNL Electrical Inc. powering your life with elegance, quality, and care.
With 70% ethyl alcohol, Mighty Foam Hand Sanitizer eliminates 99.99% of all germs and even moisturizes in the process, leaving your skin clean and hydrated. Mighty Foam Hand Sanitizer. how do you stay clean?
Krishna Ralph Establishment. No job is too small or too large. We specialize in all types of fabricating, machinery, excavator repairs, rice field pumps, and hydraulic hoses. Visit us at Lot 113, Block CC Monrepo, East Coast, Demerara, or call 220-9624, 616-9416, or 619-7880. At Krishna Ralph Establishment, no job is too small or too large.
The HGP Nightly News. The We Invest in Nationhood has described the unceremonious move by Demerara Bank Limited to close accounts of several persons associated with the sanctioned individual as political victimization. More details from Travis Chase.
Demerara Bank on Tuesday severed ties with several associates of AZURDDIN Mohamed's political party because he is an OFAC-sanctioned person. Two of the We Invest in Nationhood party members, Natasha Singh-Lewis and Dwight Hetzberger, told a news conference Tuesday evening that they received letters from Demerara Bank Limited stating that the bank has decided to close their bank accounts and they should take steps to wrap up all related businesses with that financial institution by July 25, 2025.
The explanation given for closing my account is very vague. And so I paid a visit to the bank this morning and I spoke to two persons. The person who wrote the letter, wrote the email to me, and she explained the same thing. I asked to see the policies or to reference the policy to me, and she was unable to do that.
Singh-Lewis, a former People's National Congress reform member, said she had already consulted a lawyer and legal action could be taken.
Legal action will be taken in relation to the letter sent to me from the bank, because the bank has a license and has a responsibility to do business with all Guyanese. And my service with them goes beyond 15 years. I have had 15 years and more of uninterrupted service with that bank.
Election agent for the Win Party, Dwight Hetzberger, said he sees it as a political victimization.
I immediately called my colleagues to find out if anybody else received such letters, and I subsequently learned that others did. And here we are now, sitting here stating clearly what this is. This is an attempt to undermine a democratic process.
The party's campaign manager and general secretary, Odessa Primus, said the move by the bank must fall squarely at the feet of the PPPC government. She said the government is not playing fair.
Allow the race to be fair. Stop trying to intimidate people and having all these tactics that they're putting in place to try to make people scared and these sorts of things. We have people from other regions who are not present here today who they too would have received these letters. Some people have received phone calls outside of that of the bank, threatening and intimidating these people. In some cases, they were made offers and all these sorts of things. This is not the way that that we should be living as a country.
AZURDDIN Mohamed was sanctioned by the United States Treasury's Department, OFAC, in June of 2024 for allegedly evading US $50 million in taxes. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Should he be elected to government after the September 1 polls, Aubrey Norton, the presidential candidate for a Partnership for National Unity, has unveiled plans to train young Indigenous leaders to effect meaningful change in their respective communities. Antonia Day has more.
We want genuine empowerment where we train the youths, we train people in the Indigenous community and give them the capacity to govern themselves. This is about self-governance in a proper way based on competence and service to the people.
That was Aubrey Norton, presidential candidate for the Partnership for National Unity, during an interview with veteran journalist Mr. Enrico Wolford on Tuesday. Speaking on the Context program, the APNU presidential candidate pointed out that failing to train Indigenous youths leaves them vulnerable to manipulation and corruption.
We have got to go into those villages and train young people to lead. you cannot continue in a situation where the people to lead must come from out to the community.
He notes that political directives prevent the majority of indigenous leaders or Tushos, who are primarily young people, from effectively performing their duties. Director Fernandes, APNU's prime ministerial candidate, stated that significant changes will be made to the development of hinterland communities under a coalition government. The accessibility of transport to those areas is a major obstacle, and according to Fernandes, this area will be given priority.
We're going to be investing heavily when it comes to building highways, that is bridging the hinterland to the coastline.
Fernandes, also a guest on the program, posited that much attention was not directed to the significant development of hinterland communities under the ALETHEA regime. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Indigenous villages and communities across Guyana could benefit from an increase in their quota of carbon credit sales, moving the current allocation of 15% to 50%. This assurance was given by Director Fernandes, the prime ministerial candidate for a partnership for national unity. Antonio Day reports.
Notwithstanding promises to assist rural communities with funds being allocated under the low carbon development strategy, evidently most indigenous communities have yet to undergo significant development. These were the arguments raised by Director Fernandes, the prime ministerial candidate for the Partnership for National Unity, APNU, who highlighted the unequal distribution of carbon credits to hinterland communities across Guyana.
We're looking at bringing it from 15%, where it is at the PPP right now. We're looking at bringing it from 15% to 50% for those communities.
In December 2022, the government of Guyana signed an agreement with Hess Corporation to sell carbon credits for at least $750 million through 2032. However, Fernandes posited that the distribution structure that is currently in place is in dire need of change.
What they're doing is giving it to the community leadership, the councils. We believe that it should be redesigned, and we believe that more of the carbon credits money should be given to the indigenous peoples. After all, when it comes to carbon credits and the protection of the forest and all of those things, it goes hand in hand with indigenous communities and how they operate.
Michael Williams, former Tusha of Anai Village Region 9, welcomed APNU's 50% allocation of funds from carbon credit sales when asked about the proposal.
What my recommendation to the Vice President was, tell the Tushas, it doesn't make sense stopping it. Why don't we go around the table and ask for an increase, whether it be 5%?
Williams, speaking to Nightly News during the opening day of the Global Biodiversity Summit at the Arthur Chung Conference Center, stated that he has been advocating for a larger allocation of resources to indigenous communities at previous National Tusha Council conferences.
But if it is going to be raised for 50% at one time, well, that would be so great for the indigenous people. Because I already recommended that, but not 50%, as I said. I said every year you should increase it. Right.
By the end of 2030, Guyana is expected to earn at least $750 million from the deal with Hess, with 15% allocated directly to indigenous communities as part of the Low Carbon Development Strategy, LCDS. I am Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
More news for you after this break. Stay with us.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. CVON's waste management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call CVON's Waste Management today at 218-1455.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
The HGP Nightly News, a safe space designed to support men and young people emotionally, has been officially launched in Regions 3. The Brave Center, introduced by the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, aims to tackle critical issues like mental health, violence prevention, and responsible fatherhood. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
The Ministry of Human Services and Social Security has officially opened its first ever Brave Center in Region 3. The facility is intended to provide a safe and supportive space where men and young people can access vital services, express themselves freely, and receive guidance without judgment. Minister of Human Services and Social Security Dr. Vindhya Prasad explained that the center is about making meaningful change in people's life without being labeled or stereotyped.
A deep sense of care, a deep sense of passion to really make the kind of difference that people need in their lives.
Dr. Prasad also emphasized the importance of investing in young people, particularly in the areas of mental and emotional well-being.
We don't see young people as our tomorrows, we see them as our now. And you're seeing it all the time. And for us to see them as our now, we have to invest in them. We have to ensure that they understand not only the financial investment, but the deeper investment where we're investing in their growth, their mental growth, their emotional stability.
She further stated that a Brave Center is not about creating labels, but instead about ensuring that men are supported in areas such as conflict resolution, prevention of violence against women, responsible fatherhood, anger management, mental health, peer-to-peer support, building healthy relationships, and achieving behavioral change.
This is what we need, the interest in a young person, the non-judgmental interest in a young person. I say that, the non-judgmental interest in a young person.
The Brave Center will operate under the Ministry's Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Policy Unit and the Family Enhancement Services Section, FESS. It will offer a wide range of services geared towards emotional healing, personal development, and fostering accountability among men and youth. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
In a major step towards tackling mental health challenges, the Ministry of Health has launched a national system to monitor and respond to suicide cases in real time. Here again is Tiana Cole.
The Ministry of Health on Tuesday launched Guyana's National Suicide Surveillance System, aimed at addressing suicide and strengthening mental health interventions across the country. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony, in his address at the launch, outlined the strategic steps taken by the government in preparation for this initiative.
We had challenges with suicide for many years. Guyana had high suicide numbers, and we wanted to also have a very special focus on reducing the cases of suicide.
Dr. Anthony noted that while legislation addressing mental health and suicide long existed, obtaining accurate data remained difficult due to inconsistent reporting practices.
While this exists in law, we were still having challenges with institutions reporting, especially hospitals. So we thought by developing this in an electronic format, giving people access to it, we would be able to get the information almost almost in real time.
With the implementation of this new system, persons in both coastal and interland communities will now be able to access mental health services more efficiently. Those at risk of suicide will also have better access to support they need. Developed with technical assistance from PAHO and UNICEF, the National Suicide Surveillance System is designed to collect accurate, timely data to guide strategic interventions that could help prevent the tragic loss of lives to suicide nationwide. The Ministry of Health has assured that all information collected will be kept confidential, in line with Guyana's laws. The data will enable real-time coordinated responses from the Ministry, the Mental Health Unit, and other key partners in mental health care and support. Tiana Co reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned for regional news.
Turbo with a new look, new style, with the same great taste in the 250 ml can. Everybody run out now. Go and go grab one. Me charge up with a turbo 250 ml at your favorite spot. Wait, sell. New look, new can, same vibes. Jinxing, energize up your life. Vibes up, work time, anytime we are turn up the party with turbo can. Turbo can, turbo can, turbo can. Now available in the new 250 ml can. Turbo energy drink. Charge up today.
So much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Interested in honoring or paying tribute to a loved one, or just making a loved one feel special? HGP TV offers you all that and more. Air your birthday greetings, death announcements, and wedding anniversaries on HGP TV today. HGP TV offers affordable prices, convenience, and great services. Call us on 220-3660 or email us at sales@hgptv.com.
You know, I've been thinking, since I moved over to the west side, this is the perfect location for put up a food stand.
Put up food stand here?
Yes, Officer Bling.
No, Granny, you can't put up no food stand here.
Why not?
Because the gas to energy pipeline.
Gas to energy? Why is that?
You can bring gas from offshore to region 3, that can turn into electricity and other things.
So what about if Granny put it up over there?
No, Granny, listen. This whole area here, from here to the West Bank, is considered the right of way. So nobody can build, plant, dig, or burn nothing here.
But what if I am?
No buts, Granny. Listen, you could get yourself or others hurt. Watch, you see this number here? You call it if you see anybody doing anything out of the way or doing anything they ain't supposed to be doing, like building, digging, or burning stuff on the right of way.
All right, grandson, I hear you.
Good evening and welcome to Wednesday's edition of the Regional News. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, TTPS, is warning of heightened threats to law enforcement personnel following the fatal shooting of 2 kidnapping suspects during coordinated operations that led to the rescue of kidnapped victim Janki Sati Karim. In a statement, Commissioner of Police ALETHEA Guevara confirmed that the TTPS carried out a series of intelligence-led operations between the night of July 21 and the early hours of July 22. These efforts culminated in the safe recovery of 44-year-old Karim, who had been abducted on July 13 and held captive for 8 days. During the operation, a male suspect who held her at gunpoint was fatally shot during a confrontation with police. A female suspect was also arrested at the scene. Later that same night, a second male suspect was shot and killed at his home. Since the operations, police say they have uncovered credible intelligence pointing to coordinated criminal plans to target law enforcement officers in retaliation. Both police and prison officers have reportedly been named as potential targets. Lawyers for former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro told the Supreme Court that he did not violate a court-ordered social media ban after the top judge accused him of breaching the order and demanded an explanation from his lawyers. In a document sent to the Supreme Court, Justice Alexander D. Moraes, Bolsonaro's lawyers asked the court to clarify the exact scope of the social media ban. Moraes ordered the ban on Friday along with mandating he wear an ankle bracelet, among other measures, alleging he courted the interference of U.S. President Donald Trump, who was tied steep no tariff on Brazilian goods to what he called quote-unquote witch hunt against Bolsonaro. On Monday, Moraes accused Bolsonaro of violating the order by giving an interview to journalists, pointing to clips the news outlets later posted on their social media accounts. The judge gave Bolsonaro's legal team 24 hours to explain the media appearance, warning that failure to comply could lead to an arrest warrant. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Tuesday paved the way for the United States to deport certain lawful permanent residents, saying Washington determined some had supported Asian gang leaders connected to a U.S. designated terrorist organization. Rubio in a statement said certain U.S. lawful permanent residents had supported and collaborated with gang leader titled VOWS Hassan, the armed alliance that controlled most of Haiti's capital Port-au-Prince, which President Donald Trump's administration labeled a foreign terrorist organization in May. Following the determination, the Department of Homeland Security can pursue the deportation of lawful permanent residents, also known as green card holders, Rubio added. It was unclear how many people could be targeted for deportation, and no individuals were named in the statement. The move comes as the Trump administration has sought to ramp up deportations as part of its wide-ranging efforts to fulfill the president's hardline immigration agenda, with Rubio making unprecedented use of his power to try to revoke the visas and green cards of pro-Palestinian student protesters. Thank you for watching. I am Tiana Cole.
United States concerned about AZURDDIN Mohamed getting into parliament could have dire consequences for Guyana. U.S. Ambassador Norton says the president ignoring meaningful consultation as acting Chief Justice touted to temporarily fill Chancellor's role. Inaugural Biodiversity Conference opens in Guyana, and Fernandes vows to increase current carbon credit sale from 15% to 50% for indigenous communities. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm ALETHEA Grant. Thanks for watching.